council. Availability of the agenda was communicated in the advance notice and the notice to the president and council of this meeting. All proceedings hereafter will be taken while this convened meeting is open to the attendance of the public. This meeting is being convened in accordance with the open. Copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in the southeast. Please sign the sign-in sheet located on the table by members of the press. Any person wishing to address the council may do so by standing. When you are recognized, please go to the podium, state your name and the organization, interest, or person you represent before you begin speaking. Thank you. Roll call.
Block.
Here.
Dupierre.
Here.
Holstein.
Here.
Kraske.
Here.
Laughlin, absent.
I'd move to give Chris an excuse. I'll second.
We have a motion by Councilman Block and a second by Councilman Holstein to excuse Councilman Laughlin. There's no discussion. Could the council please vote?
Four yes, one absent.
Motion carried. We have nothing under the consent agenda. And under public forum, we have a couple of awards tonight to some 25-year employees. We have one for Jason Curtis, a 25-year recognition, and Tracy Hood, a 25-year recognition. So we'll start with Jason first. Fuck it up, buddy. Tonight, we recognize Jason Curtis for 25 years of service to the city of Ogallala. Jason is a dedicated employee and a trusted friend to many in the city. Jason is an accomplished machine operator capable of any task, whether it is the shop or the field. Jason has an uncanny ability to visualize solutions to problems. Jason's best trait may be his ability to exude energy and enthusiasm, helping to lift the spirits of those around him. Jason is a dedicated husband and father, and when he's away from work, can be found following his children's sports and activities. On behalf of the city of Ogallala, we thank you for 25 years of service and your continued dedication to our community. Make the uncle proud. Tracy. Tracy Hood, a lifelong resident of the city of Ogallala, began working for the city in 2000. Tracy is not only a valuable individual for the city street department, but the community as a whole. Tracy is a talented machine operator and a dedicated volunteer on the Ogallala Volunteer Fire Department. Whether it's plowing snow in the middle of the night or responding to a fire call, Tracy can be trusted to get the job done. Tracy is also a committed family man who is quick to share his adventures spent with his boys, Dakota and Austin, as well as his wife, Lori. On behalf of the city of Ogallala, we thank you for your 25 years of service and your continued dedication to our community. Tracy, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for some good hires. Yeah.
Same day.
I must have been in a hurry that day. All right, we have a YMCA update.
Good evening, Conrad Bostrom, Alyssa Ewert, YMCA. Will Jane said keep it short and sweet like a good Baptist sermon. We will do our best. Financial reports I just brought over today. This meeting's 2 weeks earlier than we anticipated, which I appreciate. I have family commitments for the next city council meeting, so we just drafted the statement through March. So very pleased with the results. The only thing that would be a concern on the income statement is the very high gas charges, the rates for that, and we knew that was happening, and we've addressed that with the change in fixing of the HVAC system, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. Very astute member of our board of directors, our board chair, took the management amount contract, divided it by the 1,633 members. That was right just under $200. If you add that to our membership fees, that's about what a membership in Scotts Bluff would be. So at some point in time, we don't offer as much, obviously, here in Ogallala. But our goal is to get closer to that parity where there's less of a subsidy needed and more of income earned. And as we progress and as we provide more and very hopefully expand, I think we will get to that point. But otherwise, results are very much on budget and very much what we anticipated. And we're looking forward to seeing what the next quarter brings, which will start us into the outdoor pool season. So Melissa will talk a little bit about membership numbers.
As it stands right now, 19% of total memberships between both facilities are at Ogallala now. As of October 1st of 2024, we are at 1,421 members. January 22nd of 2025, we're at 1,556, and then March 31st of this year was 1,630 members. We're slowly increasing.
Good growth. I'll talk a little bit about the HVAC repairs, which we very much appreciate the city helping us pay for. And we replaced one of the ground units for the expansion. And we also redid all the control systems and the air handler for the pool system. And we put in an individualized system in what we call the spin room. So there's an individual heating and cooling in there. The difference in the building, and maybe some of you know it, you can open the door now and you don't have to, the air's not sucking you back in. In fact, it goes a little bit the opposite now. It's balancing out. The pool we saw it vary a lot today because of the warmer air outside, but the pool is running air temperature usually 2 degrees cooler than the water temperature. And I think we're gonna see significant savings in the gas bill and efficiency. And we'll start to see it now, and then we'll really see it next winter when we go full bore. But we're very pleased. In our opinion, we're done. And pretty much.
Pretty much. They came today, they need to replace one of the thermostats in the expansion. They came to do it and apparently they had the wrong one, so they will be back to finish that, but otherwise everything else is done.
And we're very satisfied. We really appreciate the work that Eric from Corrals has done for us, and he personally comes in and does the adjustments, which we appreciate. And next year, we're hoping to budget in the city budget for that other ground unit, and then the system will be complete.
The other ground unit, that's the one that caught fire. We,
Almost caught fire.
Almost.
It didn't catch fire all the way.
It's almost. So, yeah. But, again, we're very pleased with that. So Melissa, tell us a little bit about the outdoor pool.
The plan for the outdoor pool as it stands, we have Josh, what is his business? Ben's coming, from Denver to work on our system. He's come before several years ago. Our plan is to clean the outdoor pool out next week between the 14th and 16th. And then we're going to fill it the 17th or 18th. We're gonna let the water sit without the system being on to see how far it drops, if we need to do more repairs next year on the base of the pool itself. And then we'll have a good judgment of how much water that goes down. And then once we have the system on, if there's any leaks or anything, we'll have a better idea if there's something underground that's leaking. He plans to come between the 21st and the 28th of this month. We need to replace one of the chlorinators. It froze during the winter. And just to make sure our system's up and going correctly before we try and open. So plan is if anything major needs to be repaired, it'll be done in time for us to open the pool at the beginning of June.
Melissa, didn't you say that this gentleman's father's was part of building the original pool that we have now?
Correct, yep, he was.
He does all our work for us in Scottsbluff. Very pleased with him.
He was the one that came when they added the expansion on to the rec center and helped find the leak in the pool system there too.
Great.
Has he looked at the filter system and the
Indoor.
indoor pool?
Yes. His recommendation is to replace all of the pressure gauges in there. Most of them are not working at this time. most of the time I listen to the system because I've been around it long enough to hear what there's going on and if something's wrong. And then he said within the next year or two, he strongly advises building a new filtration system for the pool.
Can we reduce the pressure on the backflow?
Yes.
So we do the gauges going in before we open again in the fall.
Yeah.
And then look at the filter system in the next budget year. What else is exciting going on?
We are taking over the concessions at the ballpark up on the hill. We're pretty excited about it. I think it'll be a good adventure for us. And hopefully we have at least one adult that has given us an application that looks good. So that is promising.
So you talk Western Diamonds or Legion Field or both?
Western Diamonds.
Western Diamonds, okay.
Mackenzie's still going to do the Legion Field. She used to do it as part of her travel volleyball team to raise money, so it didn't cost the families as much money for uniforms and things like that. And since her kids are done with that, she said, I don't need to be up there.
We're gonna also have concessions at the outdoor pool, so we're kind of combine that effort in our purchasing, and so, and hopefully the same person can kind of manage both ends of that. So we're excited. Yeah, just want to make sure.
Well, keep a coffee pot on when grandparents go watch their grandkids.
Oh, yes.
For swimming lessons.
On those cold mornings
Yeah.
with Kim, yes.
And we have a thank you. Right?
Yes, we are thanking you for Keno funds to purchase a new ab machine. We had an older one. And it got hauled off with the old equipment and there were many upset patrons. So we requested Keno funds to purchase a new one. And we're pretty excited about that. And there'll be a lot of happy people.
You know, giving the, you know, there's not too bad a thing giving your customers what they want occasionally. We try to do that, so. We'll keep it going, so. Everyone's,
So we can't keep her to that.
all right. What do we got happening in the summer, Melissa?
Summer, we are now doing whale tails at the Kids Oasis. We used to do it in the past, so Whales Tales is water safety topics for kids to learn. They all have a different theme for each day. And one of the big ones that we do is life jacket safety and teaching them how to wear a life jacket correctly and safely and how to fit a life jacket for themselves. There's many times that you see kids in huge life jackets that are clear up to their ears. That is not safe. They're gonna slip right out of that. And then also it's based off of your weight too. So, you know, if there's a smaller kid in a too big of a life jacket or a big kid in a life jacket that doesn't fit them, it's not gonna work. So with the lake, we feel like that's a pretty important topic to cover. We are also doing swim lessons as usual. And we're gonna continue road rats through the summer. That's our toddler class that we started, and we're pretty excited about that.
It's our intent to have the Y rec center part of the facility open in mornings. So people can buy their memberships there and have access to the locker rooms. Of course, the pool will be closed, but that's something we haven't done in the past where the rec center has basically been just 24/7, so. I think some of the members are looking forward to that. So we'll staff that in the mornings. In the office. Good, great. We're excited about June. We're gonna have all our leadership meetings here in Ogallala. We're gonna start with, you guys will love this. Central and Western Nebraska YMCA's, we do a summer meeting. You know where Central Nebraska starts, Kevin? Starts at Grand Island. And works its way here, so all the Ys from Grand Island over, we're gonna meet in Ogallala. We're the only Y in mountain time, so I think we're the only Y that should be considered a Western Nebraska Y. So we're looking forward to that. That'll be the 25th of June. We're gonna meet at the library. And they're gonna tour our facilities. That should be a good meeting. The next day, we're gonna do an advisory committee between the city council and ourselves. The YMCA in the morning, and then we're gonna have a YMCA board meeting here in Ogallala at noon on the 26th. So I don't know if we're gonna have to bus people down, I haven't quite decided that yet.
How many people will it be?
That, if everyone came, there'd be 16 board members.
Okay.
And, 3 staff. Trinity, myself, and Melissa will be there. So we're kind of excited about it.
And what day of the week is this on?
The YMCA's are coming on a Wednesday and the board and advisories on Thursday.
Yeah. So they could make it a long weekend.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
You can get the chamber involved.
Right. We'll have, I'm really looking forward to it, because they've heard a lot of stories, and Chris has been really good at giving us input and saying what's going on, so we're looking forward to showing the place off. Was that short enough, Jane?
Perfect.
One more thing, Congress, give them, how you were able to impress your Scottsbluff peers of your Ogallala knowledge.
Oh, it's just, it's really tremendous, I did a fundraiser in Lincoln, helped my sister, because you still need to do what your big sister tells you to do. And one of the prizes was a plane ride over Lake McConaughey, which I bought incidentally. And I was able to tell them where the Texas Trail ended, when Ogallala became a city, why Boot Hill and Soapbox Derby and all the things that are unique to Ogallala. And they said, how do you know all this stuff? And I said, because we have a branch in Ogallala. So, no, but that was, yeah, they were pretty impressed.
Hey, one thing I caught early in your presentation that I want to point out is that you talked about as membership increases and revenue for membership increases. That helps offset
Absolutely.
what comes out directly to subsidize from the city. So that, we typically don't work with organizations like that. When they become profitable, they become profitable. With you, if our operations are profitable, that helps lower what we put in. So thank you for that. I think this is a very good decision for the city.
Yeah, so far, Kevin and I look brilliant. It's this idea we came up with seems like it was really, but that's only just so far, okay?
It'll work long enough.
It'll work long enough, right? Exactly, but thank you. Anything else?
Can I just add to that I did compare their first quarter to our first quarter of 2024, and they had over 4,000 more revenue than we had in membership, so
Wow.
I think
Okay.
just catching those dailies
I
is a
tell you,
big thing.
That's
I've heard
awesome.
nothing
Yeah.
but good about the operation and what's available there.
Well, there's a couple of things I'd be remiss if I didn't say. Melissa's the catalyst. She makes it work. She's here. She's very accountable. She's very accessible. I really appreciate working with her. A member kind of joked around with me today a little bit, and she kind of said, you better back off. So she defends me, and I really appreciate all that she does for us here. All right, we'll sit down.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, we have a couple proclamations. First one is for the library. I'm not gonna make it see that.
That was adequate, Jane.
Yeah, I would say that's better than adequate, so, but that's just me.
You're probably.
You do you, Con.
All right, whereas, this is another hire.
Yeah.
Whereas libraries spark creativity, fuel imagination, and inspire lifelong learning, offering a space where individuals of all ages can explore new ideas and be drawn to new possibilities. Whereas libraries serve as vibrant community hubs connecting people with knowledge, technology, resources while fostering civic engagement, critical thinking, and lifelong learning. And whereas libraries provide free and equitable access to books, digital tools, and innovative programming, ensuring that all individuals, regardless of background, have the support they need to learn, connect, and thrive. Whereas libraries partner with schools, businesses, and organizations, connecting the dots to maximize resources, increase efficiency, and expand access to essential services, strengthening the entire community. Whereas the libraries empower job seekers, entrepreneurs, and lifelong learners by providing access to resources, training, and opportunities that support career growth and economic success. Whereas libraries nurture young minds through story times, STEAM programs, and literacy initiatives, fostering curiosity and a love of learning that lasts a lifetime. Whereas libraries protect the right to read, think, and explore without censorship, standing as champions of intellectual freedom and free expression. Whereas dedicated librarians and library workers provide welcoming spaces that inspire discovery, collaboration, and creativity for all. Whereas libraries, librarians, and library workers across the country are joining together to celebrate National Library Week under the theme, Drawn to the Library. Now therefore, be it resolved that I, Stephen Kraske, Mayor, proclaim National Library Week, April 6th through 12th, 2025. During this week, I encourage all residents to visit their library, celebrate the adventures and opportunities they unlock for us every day. Ready, set, library. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the city of Ogallala to be affixed this 8th day of April, 2025. And good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How long you?
A long time, too long.
Too long? No, not
Too
long
long.
enough.
Think
Not
of
long.
how many kids, I have to, judge it by how many kids I've had since I've been here. Almost 18 years. Yeah, right around there. October it'll be 18 years.
Thank you.
Long time. Thank you.
All right. Is for public transportation. Whereas public transit provides Nebraskans access to medical, business, employment, school, social, and supportive services. Whereas public transit allows individuals to remain independent, contributes to economic development, reduces traffic congestion, decreases carbon emissions, and improves rural and urban mobility. Whereas public transit provides the only public transportation service to many of the smaller towns and rural counties in Nebraska. Whereas Nebraska is served by 2 urban transit systems, 2 small urban transit systems, and 50 rural transit systems, providing some level of service within 89 Nebraska counties. Whereas Nebraska has numerous public transit employees who provide service to Nebraskans and must maintain stringent educational requirements and standards. Whereas the Nebraska Association of Transportation Providers recognizes the importance that public transit professionals play and wishes to acknowledge that. Whereas public transportation in the state is provided by the collaborated efforts of the Nebraska Department of Transportation, Federal Transit Administration to provide resources to transport individuals every day. Now therefore, I, Stephen Kraske, Mayor of the City of Ogallala, hereby proclaim April 6th through 12th, 2025 as Public Transit Week in Ogallala, and do hereby urge all citizens to increase their understanding and awareness of their local transit system and the many services provided. Witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and cause a great seal of the city of Ogallala to be affixed this 8th day of April, 2025. Congratulations, Coletta.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Was that another hire student?
Nope.
Not quite.
I was here a month
She was like
before
30
him.
days before me, but I decided to keep her, so. A lot of whereas.
That was. I think somebody would type them all up too.
All right, under the reports, city clerk treasurer, we have the minutes of the regular meeting held March 25th, 2025.
Move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held March 25th, 2025. Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Block, and a second by Councilman Holston. There is no discussion. Could council please vote?
Poole, yes, 1 absent.
Motion carried. Moving on, we have financial report for March 2025.
Okay, before I start the financial report, I just want to let y'all know that it does appear the YouTube live of the video is working tonight, so we won't just be uploading the video after the meeting. We are live, and last time I looked, nobody was watching, so. We'll get there. We'll get there. So,
Well, you brought that up though. I mean, is it recorded somewhere that they can go in and pull it up then or watch it?
it's also, it'll be on YouTube it'll be there.
It'll be on our channel.
Yeah, it'll be on the channel, and I have it also record on the owl. If something happens, I can always upload it later. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, so for the treasurer's report, for the month ended March 31st, 2025, revenues were $911,076.87. Expenses for the month were $959,469.23. Fiscal year-to-date revenues are $5,699,225.81. And fiscal year-to-date expenses are $6,224,110.26. So we are halfway through our fiscal year. So with 50% of the fiscal year remaining, the proprietary funds have 91% of their budget revenue remaining. The governmental funds have 64%, and the internal service funds have 58% of their budget revenue remaining. And then on the expense side, the proprietary funds have 91% of their budget expenses remaining. The governmental funds have 66%, and the internal service funds have 21% of their budget expenses remaining. Fiscal year to date, the city has received $465,692.04 from franchise fees, $18,878.40 from telephone occupation taxes, and $67,512.34 from hotel occupation taxes. And as you'll notice on the LB 840 portions of the financial report is what was requested last time, we do have an unencumbered LB 840 balance of $99,692.67.
Nice, thank you.
You have any questions on the financial report?
Yeah, could you explain to us the discrepancy in the proprietary funds between percent fiscal year and?
Well, we had budgeted the large project out at the wastewater treatment plant, and it has been a little bit on hold, so that's why the expenses nor the revenue have come in.
Yeah. So capital expenditures.
It's a capital expenditure. And I would just add on the internal service funds, 21% of our budgeted expenses remaining, it's been a tough year in our medical benefit account, and the city's probably going to have to transfer some money over there to cover.
Right.
But hopefully we'll
Be healthy next year.
You know what? It's not bad. I mean, we have pretty good cash reserves.
right.
We're doing well.
We do. It's a healthy.
And most years, it works out pretty well, but
Well, we should be getting, I'm not sure that they haven't been able to tell me what the holdup is in getting our reinsurance money back, because we have some large claims, and so that money will be coming back. Hopefully it will hit us in the fiscal year, if not in the next fiscal year.
Doing a good job, James. Keep it up. And
Thank you.
with the help of Kevin, so. All right, any questions? Comments from council?
Okay.
All right, moving on, we have recommendations of departments, boards, and committees. LB 840 Application Review Committee, Keith County Housing Development Corporation.
Mr. President, this is an application, Heath County Housing Development Corporation. It's specific to the demolition and abatement of the Ogallala Middle School to prepare for site acquisition and development of a mixed income housing project. It has been reviewed by the LB 840 Citizen Advisory Committee. Legal counsel has looked at the minutes of that, the motion, as well as additional discussions and application, and been able to craft an agreement, which I think meets the intent of all of the discussions that have occurred around this project.
Great. And we have,
Mary Wilson, with Keith County Housing Development Corporation, and also Keith County Area Development, and Ryan Tobin.
I'm Brian Tobin with Big Red Development, and joined with my partner here, Brandon McLaughlin.
we're the ones that will be forming the partnership and application for the project.
Yes. So as Kevin touched on, this application, is to support the development of the old middle school property, turning that into 44 housing units, in downtown Ogallala. 9 of those units would be, unrestricted. The rest of those would be, income restricted units, which we see as workforce, housing opportunities here for the community. A minor clerical piece. I just saw the agreement in the packet, and the developer would be Big Red Development LLC, not the 205th or 205 6th Street LLP. It's on page 1 in the purpose of assistance. I wanted to bring that up before we got into discussions, before I forgot. The request is for $460,000. That amount is just under 3% of the total project cost, estimated to be about 18 million. We know the budget has changed quite a bit as we start, but we're using the 18 million ballpark. The funds would be used for, as Kevin indicated, for abatement, specific demo of the property to help us speed up the timeline of this. Ryan can talk about the timeline a little more in depth for you guys, but this would allow us to get started on those things that need to happen regardless. Get the property in position for us to move once the awards are ready to go next spring. So any questions on that specifically, and then Ryan can take over. Okay.
Great, well, I'm really here to answer questions, but I can tell you just with kind of a brief summary, I've spoken with many on an individual basis over the course of the project concept development, and we're sitting in a very good position. But that position for success is really predicated on the support of the city that we've seen in the community at large. So we really appreciate being here. These are very challenging projects, but I think collectively, both our partnerships here with the local community and the stakeholders, as well as our ongoing commitment with both NIFA and the State Historic Preservation Office, that collectively we've been able to pull together the resources that will be required to make this a beautiful facility overall. Supporting this early effort here with LBA 40 is going to help us eliminate risk. Ultimately, it's going to help inform design, define our scope with more clarity, but more importantly, accelerate the timeline. We are in the second year now of application with the State Historic Preservation Office, and it's a 2-year timeline for those applications before they expire. And so right now, with our commitment both last year and this year, we're feeling very confident about how we've pulled this project together. And we're doing that amidst a very volatile market, as we all know. So things are changing on a daily basis, but we built that cushion into this right now so that we have assurance that what we're committing now are going to be things that we can get back out of it. And at the end of the day, we're looking to develop a community center and with 44 housing units that could serve as many as 125 individuals in the building. So happy to answer any questions you might have.
Could you go through the timeline of when your application has to be in and the abatement and then?
Sure. Absolutely. Well, the NIFA application will be submitted in May. The awards from NIFA will come out around August. Oftentimes that slips, but this year they've accelerated that to try to help projects get going sooner than later because of the need of housing across the state. And so with an award of tax credits at that point, then that's kind of where we continue to do our due diligence with full incorporation of design services. We get through a pretty healthy amount of design and due diligence upfront to create a basis of our costs that we're going to need to accomplish, but there's a lot of unknowns that will happen through the discovery process if awarded LBA 40, and those are the things that we can help manage then through that timeline. Upon award in say August, we would kick things off with both our lenders and our equity partners that we bring into this, and we would envision ourselves trying to close early first quarter. Our current benchmark is to try to close financially by February. February will start the full construction effort. Approximately 12 months to deliver a unit from that point is what we would believe. If we start the work early here in the summer or fall to complete the abatement work and the discovery that we would need. We estimate that to be approximately anywhere from 4 to 6 months of due diligence to get through that early process. So, if we were to, get the approval from council, we would work with, the Housing Development Corp then to, fully build out our bid tab, finish and complete our demolition plan, work through competitive bidding process with both local and state resources as needed to make sure we can accomplish the job and have the appropriate oversight for the effort. Knowing it's historic, there's a lot of specifics that we have to be very mindful of so that we're not destroying any historic elements that want to be preserved by the state. But that process then would have us kind of completing that work by year end. It's important to do that because we have to have all vendors paid out, all the lien releases collected, so that by the time of the bigger financial closing on the property and the overall financing, that we have assurances that all vendors have been paid to date and there's no potential for liens. And so that's how this timeline has been formulated. So this is a great opportunity for us to really, like I said, manage ultimate risk and then condense that timeline by as many as 4 to 6 months in the overall project delivery.
Thank you. I do have one more question. The number of employees that you'll be hiring during the abatement, during the construction, and then also after it's opened up.
Sure. Well, great question. Some of that has some variabilities based on where we're able to find our subs. So first and foremost, we're gonna look to work with as many local subs as we can through the construction effort. The demo and abatement effort will require certain certifications to accomplish that work, but within the LBA 40 funds, we would anticipate about 6 people during that course of that 4 to 6 months to complete the work. That would be a full-time employee in conjunction with that scope of work that we'd be contracting out and then having the oversight on it. So 4 to 6 people, I think over the next 4 months, we'll be able to do the work that we need to within the building. And then also do some preservation to the large leaks that are coming in now, so we prevent future mold growth. So really, we've got to cap what's there and then we can clean out what's in it, but we don't want to clean out what's in it until we stop the water so we don't create more damage down the road too. Through construction, Riley'd probably speak better to that, but I would say a project like this could have anywhere from 3 to 5 kind of oversight folks that are helping manage the project. And then I would guess anywhere from 30 to 60 different employees overall during the construction effort that are coming at different trade cycles throughout the development of the project. That could ebb and flow depending on how we break down the scopes of work to complete it in a timely way. Long term, we're striving for a full-time employee. That's our goal here through this financing package, through the local support that we're receiving and through our health and housing initiatives, so that we can make sure that that building has on-site management in conjunction with that. Currently, as we're working through that, it's proposed that we're going to be managing it in conjunction with some of the other assets that the Housing Development Corp manages, so that we have efficiencies within that management budget. But the reason I bring it up is this health and housing initiative that we focused on has all been around how we can generate that additional support from the state in the form of a lower interest rate. And this gets into some complexity, but we all know if my rate's less, I pay less. If we get to pay less by winning this health and housing component, that's where we're going to put it into the staffing resources here locally to make sure that it's maintained for years to come.
Thank you.
When's the proposed start date for phase 1? You're hoping February of 26 is?
For the,
For
I would say phase
abatement.
one, the abatement demo would be later this summer.
Later this summer.
Yeah, trying to complete, by end of year or early in first part of the year so that we can have that scope of work completed and.
So that would be before you know if you are awarded the NIFA?
It'll probably be right around that same time, yeah.
You feel very confident though in your scoring ability with what we've been able to add and local support.
Yeah,
The health and housing and.
that's a great question. I mean, we wouldn't keep investing in it if we didn't think we were getting better along the way. I mean, that's one of the challenges in this type of competitive application, but. Just to highlight last year where we were in the qualified application plan, in a matter of 2 to 3 months, we pulled together a lot of support and a lot of good efforts to try to advance the program. And based on historical scoring, we were right there. We scored 56 points. Every point we went for, we scored. We were an alternate in this last year's award. So everybody else across the state scored higher for any number of reasons that were within that QAP, but more than they had historically for award. This year, we buckled down, a new QAP came out for the next 3 years, so there's new rules, new guidelines, new programs that all get integrated into that overall application. And so we've been strategically working with that scoring system to maximize our points, but looking at historical wins. Currently, with this local support, we would be scoring at 61. So we've increased our points, we've solidified a partnership with Ogallala Housing Authority, continue to work with KCAD and the Housing Development Court, but more importantly, with the town support and around this health and housing initiative, which is extremely important because it sets us, it's a set aside now under the new QAP. So we're very confident that the time is now. The market's changing, so we have less equity than we did last year and prices are higher. So we're always fighting this constant, how much is it gonna cost and what are the available resources? So that's constantly evolving, but right now, with the participation of SHPO and one of the matters coming up before you here with the plat, the state has also come up with an additional close to $1.5 million in proceeds through this maneuver, which has helped solve some of the issues they're having in the market volatility. And so, in short, we're very confident.
Do you have an estimated cost on the demo and abatement?
I would love to say we could get it all done for the amount requested, but until we know exactly what's behind the curtain, it'll be tough to tell. So we're gonna hard bid what's been identified in the reporting thus far, and we have those bids received. And then the selected demo sometimes is discovery, and so that's really where we back it up with time and materials invoicing. We've also offered the assurance of a payment performance bond to complete the work within that price range as well, so that the city would have the assurance of that work being completed if something happened to us, the hit by the bus scenario.
We don't talk about that.
On Austin's point, on the, just say the 460,000, if you come in at, let's just say 430,000, then we get back to 30,000.
In that scenario, that would be the case.
Cause it'll be based off the receipts.
Correct.
Yeah.
Is it your goal to start demo and abatement before the NIFA is awarded, or wait till about the same time after, so we know that's coming?
Well, we had, we'd love to say we should start as soon as possible. I mean, but we also understand some of the timing related to the proposal put in front of you from the committee. And so we have to back into that. But if we started any sooner than that, it would be, that we would have to carry those costs to accelerate that schedule. So we understand the timelines that were proposed, and we have to work around those on our side to make sure that we can have cash flow if we were to accelerate that work earlier.
So we're not, well, a couple things. One, the applicant is Keith County Housing Development
Correct.
Corporation, and it's a big red development project, but we're through LBA 40 funding Housing Development Corporation. What the way I look at it is, I try to separate it. This project has to have the environmental issues abated regardless who moves forward with it, or if it's leveled and cleared. So, that's not gonna change. And that's how I got comfortable moving forward on this, with saying, we need to get this abated. We need to get this taken care of. So the other point that came up is with Jane's financial report, we have like 90-some thousand in LB 40 funds right now. We don't provide funds that we don't have. So as we collect those funds, which are roughly 25,000 a month.
More like 18 to 20.
18 to 20, okay, well. So as we collect those funds, those will, be going out to fund this project. The other key on this, and Ron, you pointed out, is you have a performance bond. So, at the end of the day, we're in for $460,000 and there's still environmental issues out there, they get abated, they get taken care of. The last thing we do have, a date on there, so this thing isn't gonna hang out there forever. We took to November of 2027, I believe, which,
2 years after you
Yeah.
executed.
And, you know, to Mary's credit and to members of the Keith County Housing Development Corporation, I mean, there was some very good discussion, some good points brought up on this. I know that there was some, you know, proponents, opponents, but, you know, at the end of the day, everybody wants to see the project done. Everybody would like to see that vacant building come alive again. And, you know, to the credit of the LBA 40 group, they came up with a good motion for council to draft a good contract on it, so.
Just to provide a little bit of clarity on the timings you were asking about, right?
And
So Ryan McLaughlin, partner with Big Red Development.
Yep.
Good question. So in a perfect world, there's a number of things that need to take place here in sequential order. We've already released a demo plan from our architect to be able to put that together, so we can put it out to public bid. So we don't have that demo plan yet. Once we do, then we can provide the backup invoice that you're gonna require. So we don't have that piece. We've got one abatement bid at this point, which I think has been submitted. We'll get more. So then we'll be able to prove up those costs to make sure that you're getting diligence for your dollars that are being spent. In a perfect world, we would like to start that work as soon as possible. So upon a NIFA award, the building is clean, everything has been cleaned out of there. We can see if there's any rotten structures to be dealt with. So we don't have to stop halfway through the job and then figure out how to design and fix that. That'd be the most efficient use of our time, is to move forward in that regard. The question for you guys would be is, in cleaning out the building and stopping the damage by water coming in, is that a good use of the money to improve the asset? We believe it would be. So that's the question I think that we would put to you guys. In a perfect world for us, we would like to move quicker, and we're comfortable managing the cash flow in our own regards, understanding when the money would come into the project.
thank you.
Anything else?
I think so. Any other questions from council members?
One other point I'd like to make is, right now that property doesn't look very good, right? And I think at the end of this project, it'll be a showpiece and it'll be something that Ogallala can be very proud of. And there's a lot of traffic that goes right past that. And it drives me crazy when you drive, you know, come in from the east and you see some of the properties and see that, to see a beautiful project when it comes being done, I think will be awesome.
Thank you.
I don't personally like the idea of tying up LBA 40 for 2 years, but a project of this magnitude, something, I think is something that needs to get done. We have a housing need that is very dire right now, especially with more development coming. To me, it's just, I think we just gotta go forward.
And no other timeline would work. I mean,
No.
to keep their timeline, but we have.
No.
You know, I'm a huge This Old House fan and Ask This Old House. And every other episode, they're rehabbing a school somewhere. Those are communities that are succeeding, getting the rehab to those schools. The other communities, those schools sit vacant and they can continue to deteriorate. You know, back in the 90s, I worked for NIFA and we went to Baltimore, looked at Winchester housing projects. And it was scary going into that community, but as you got into the newer projects, they really looked nice and they were rehabbing schools. So it would sit there for years yet, if we are not moving forward on this, and this is the city's way of helping. And, you know, our funds are like less than 3% of the total project.
2.555.
We wish you luck. We really do. We really hope you succeed.
We're excited about the project, and Riley and I have done multiple projects like this in our careers together, both working on developer contractor role and collectively together. So that experience is what we'll bring to the table here to support your community and this asset. And we're excited to be part of it.
And you are a local, aren't you?
I would say 20 plus years of having a home out here and paying taxes gets me close.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Council?
I'd move to approve the Economic Development Assistance, Keith County Housing Development Corporation to prepare the former Ogallala Middle School for future housing development and authorize the council president to sign the agreement after the corrected name on page 1 from 205 6th Street LLP to Big Red Development.
Good job.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Dupierre and a second by Councilman Block. If there's no further discussion or comment, could council please vote? That's
4 yes, 1 absent.
motion carried. Congratulations, good luck, best of luck.
Oh.
And thanks to the members of the Keith County Housing Development Corporation for making this thing work. And Mary, of course. All right, moving on, under outdoor pool. Naming of the Ogallala Outdoor Pool, Resolution 2266.
Mr. President, this is a simple name change that goes along with the YMCA branding. I think this just adds to the excitement and enthusiasm we have of a YMCA presence here in Ogallala that we hope to continue, expand and grow.
I would introduce resolution 2266 and move for adoption.
We have, let's see, resolution authorizing the naming of the Ogallala Outdoor Pool. Does anybody can tell us what it's gonna be named?
It is the
Ogallala YMCA Oasis.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
I'll second.
I don't have my own notes, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, who's second? That?
That's Councilman Holstein. We have a motion by Councilman Block. Councilman Block introduced resolution 2266 and Councilman Holstein, seconded. There's no further discussion. Could the council please vote?
Four yes, 1 absent.
Resolution 2266 is adopted. Moving on, under planning and zoning, we have a final plat from Ogallala Baptist Church replat of lots 1 through 5. EL Kennedy subdivision number 1230 and a tract of land located in the west 1/2 of section 5 township 13 north range 38 west of the 6 PM Keith County, Nebraska.
Mr. President, this comes at the request of the Ogallala Baptist Church. They've got lots that sit to the west of the church. The church is located in the northeast corner of this parcel. Brandon, what is that? G Street? Is that
Yes.
so the parking lot that enters this is just short of G Street. Talk a little bit about the lot division and the planning commission's desires on that house that straddles the lot. Go.
Go. All right. So the Brandon Scott, planning and zoning administrator. The Ogallala Baptist Church is, like Kevin was stating, they're joining the tract of land with the 5 lots that they own west of the tract of land, creating 1 block, 1 lot. As you see on your plat, there's a house that sits on, I think it's lot 2 and 3, or maybe it's 3 and 4. It sits directly on that line. The planning commission was hesitant to approve or recommend to you the plat because of the house being vacant and being registered with the vacant property registration. Currently, they are exempt. They filed for an exemption last year and we granted them that exemption, but the planning commission would really like to see that house removed.
We granted them the exemption on the condition that that they improve the appearance of the house.
Which has,
They at that particular time, they were uncertain as to what they were gonna do with it. But I think with this lot split, it pretty much is determined it's where it's straddling the lot line, it's not gonna have a future use.
Those lot lines will be removed with the proposed plat though, so.
I'm looking at this correctly, and I gotta zoom this thing in. It looks like is it sitting on, is that line a setback line?
So that is the line that it encroaches to the south. Is that the line that you're talking?
Well,
about?
yeah,
So that is actually in a 10-foot easement that is being created with this plat. So there's a 10-foot easement that goes all the way around the property per city code. And that house is setting into that actual 10-foot easement.
so. It becomes non-conforming, but
It would become non-conforming, correct?
well, did the planning commission make it conditional that this was approved on anything, or just, just talking, just dealing with them in good faith?
Yeah, it was just a topic. They approved it either way, but it was a topic that the planning commission really wants to help the city with all these vacant properties. So it was just a topic that they talked about that we could use these replats as help to get the vacant properties taken care of.
Did they give you any idea, any indication of what they're gonna do with it then?
The Baptist church did. I can follow up with them and report back to you guys if you want.
What was the recommendation of the planning commission?
They recommended to approve it.
Okay.
So the Baptist church, they're wanting to add on to their actual church is what brought this on, and the tract of land that they set in, they don't have the room, so they needed to join those lots or really they needed to join to be able to do that for the setback reasons.
That half of block will be one lot. Is that?
Correct, that, yes.
Not paved or anything now, it's just gravel.
It's just gravel. I think they have like 6 paved parking spots up front, I think, but the rest of it is gravel.
Not. The planning commission see any concern with this replat?
Other than the house, no. The easements were there, that was one of their biggest topics was the easement for getting utilities. Cause sooner or later it may be subdivided again and they wanted to be sure that the easement was there for utilities, which all the utilities are on that lot. The tract, I'm sorry, all the utilities are on the tract. There's none actually on the lots, but it's accessible to get through there through that easement now, so. There is gas on the vacant house. That would need to be addressed if they were to demolish that, but that was just simply capping it and moving on.
You're saying it could be beneficial if it was contingent on the fact they get registered with the vacant properties.
They're exempt. They're on the exemption database, so they filed the application for that exemption. And Kevin and I, they were gonna dress it up, so we granted them that exemption, but now they don't know what they're gonna do with it, so
It's still on the list.
it's still on the list.
So is the church? I see what we're doing, we're asking to combine lots 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But is the church, does the church primarily sit on, is that lot 6?
So the church actually sits on the tract of land. That the actual church has never been platted.
Okay,
So
so,
it's a tract of land joined with lots 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, I believe.
And this cleans that up.
It cleans that up, correct? Yeah, there's 5 lots there. so-
okay, cause I can't zoom in anymore, but I don't see any lot on the primary tract that the church sits.
Yeah, there's not.
Were those lots, also exempt from taxes?
I don't believe so. I can't answer that for sure, Steve, but I don't know. I don't believe they were.
So by replatting this to one lot, that they would become exempt.
It's owned by the church and then,
Yeah.
so I'll bet it's tax exempt already.
Yeah.
Well, I would have thought so. James checking it out.
I was gonna say, pull it up, right?
Like,
Yeah,
This is
the
East
church did.
Highway 30.
and this is Highway 30.
East side.
Tax exempt,
Oh, I thought you guys
Oh,
said.
do you got it?
tax exempt.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Tax can't be much on them anyway. No, so. You know, I don't, personally, I don't see an issue with it if you get it paid out.
I don't think I like tying an abatement to the plat, I'll be honest.
The,
Just kind of what the planning and zoning was talking about. They didn't make that motion, but that was their,
oh,
Yeah, they didn't make a motion. It was just a topic of discussion.
yeah,
We can note that concern to, it is a continued concern, and whereas the property is still on the vacant property list. On, properties on that vacant property list will come up for review on their exemption every year. So we can note that in our discussions when we review the next vacant property registration.
I'd move to approve the final plat of Ogallala Baptist Church replat of lots 1-5. EL Canada subdivision number 1230 in a tract of land located in the west half of section 5, township 13, north range 38 west of the 6 PM, Keith County, Nebraska.
I'll second.
we have a motion by Councilman Dupierre and a second by Councilman Holstein. There is no further discussion. Council, please vote.
4 yes, 1 absent.
Motion carried. Staying with planning and zoning, we have a final plat of Schoolhouse Apartments replat of Block 9, Paxton addition to Ogallala County, Nebraska.
Mr. President, this also comes as a request as part of the application process for the Ogallala Middle School project. What this accomplishes is it separates the old portion of the middle school and the new portion of the middle school into 2 separate addresses. That will be facing 6th Street, Brandon.
Yes, sir.
Brandon's looked at this, his only concerns is we had to kind of jig jog around a gas line. There's also a 10-foot sewer easement. For the sewer line. Anything else of note on that, Brandon?
For the original proposed plat from Ryan, we added some parking that needed to be added to the first parcel, the parcel to the west. But we added,
It's all compliant.
it's all,
Yeah, it's compliant to adding the address points.
yes.
So why are we splitting these?
Brandon McLaughlin, Big Red Felon. Real simple. This was actually the state's idea. So we have a maximum tax credit, historic tax credit from the state that we can apply for, which is $2 million. And that's 30% of the total cost of the project. That's what we can apply for. If we split this into two different buildings, we can have two applications, which allows us to double the amount of tax requests that we're getting. It improves the scoring criteria on our LIHTC application by being able to get different funding sources to the table. So that's what we're doing.
It also gets us 3 address points in the historic district.
Preservation
Which is
district.
what you did 2 weeks ago.
What happens if you get one funded and you don't get the other funded?
We've already got a condition approval on both. It was actually SHPO, the State Historic Preservation Office, that suggested this.
Okay,
They want to see the project get done, and they're like, this is within the standards to be able to do it.
so for knife, it's fund them both or fund nothing?
No, NIFA, we're asking for less tax credits from them because the historic office is giving us more. So
Okay.
it's one pocket or the other within the state. But it improves our scoring criteria for us to be able to improve our application.
So the bottom line is, you're doing them both, you're not doing anything.
Absolutely correct.
All right, just want to be clear on that.
Yeah.
I would move to approve final plat schoolhouse apartments, replat block 9, tax in addition to Ogallala, Keith County, Nebraska.
Second. We have a motion by Councilman Holstein and a second by Councilman Block to approve the final plat. Schoolhouse apartments. There's no further discussion. Council, please vote.
4 yes, 1 absent.
Motion carried. One step closer, guys. All right, report to city attorney. All right, report to city manager.
Mr. President, I think I've notified everybody that the building resilience and infrastructure in communities is been canceled by the current administration. The resolution that we passed, I think, 2 weeks ago or a month ago. We rushed through that to get the application in. We got the application prepared just in time for the program to be canceled. I am working on plan B and C as the source, other sources of fundings for that drainage project. As Jane noted, in her financial report, we're still waiting on a go-ahead from the Water Advisory Council for state revolved loan funds to move ahead with the wastewater treatment plant. There are repairs that we're gonna have to make on that plant, funding or not funding, in order to keep it going. We were able to find to improve the drainage, that's been blocked up for however many years. We're no longer running water over the main electrical panel as it goes into the plant as often. So there's improvements there. We are looking, and this is a decision I need to make this week. And talking with our fire chief and the fire chief meeting with other fire chiefs, there is a 80% probability that we're gonna have a fireworks ban this year. The long-term weather forecast is for hot, dry, windy, spring and early summer. Combine that with our current drought status. Dell is a little stronger than 80%. I'd still like to be a little bit more optimistic at 80% chance of a fireworks ban. I need to make a decision on a fireworks show. Anticipating a probable fireworks ban with the drought conditions. I've been reaching out to drone operators. Drone operators that provided us by our fireworks company. I found one that operates out of Norfolk, who happens to be doing a show in Basalt, Colorado on the 4th of July. That's an $80,000, and he charges like $400 a drone. It's a 200 drone show that he would deliver to us on the 5th for $25,000, which is what we have budgeted for the fireworks show. Another wrinkle to that is currently our fundraising is down by more than half, Jane.
Yes.
So we budgeted for the city of Ogallala 6,000. I need to go to the county and make a formal request for their 6,000, which we've been assured is there. We've got about 6,000 in private donations, so we're short. So two questions that I wanna pose for the council's discussion is A, do you wanna go with the $25,000 drone show? And B, if we can't raise any more money, are you willing to make up the deficit to get to that $25,000 number?
So what would our deficit be for?
6 or 7,000.
And this would be on July
Jane
5th.
doesn't let me do math.
July 5th, right?
July, it'll be Saturday, July 5th.
Which, you know what, might work out well. Might have a lot more going on than, you know, people in town. Have you seen a drone? Did they show you a video?
There is a video. I think I sent out a link to the video.
That's pretty cool,
What they've
Joe.
done.
It's pretty cool.
They only, you won't get the report off of the booms. But where I did say, well, you know, are you just gonna give us the same, but then the assault show? No, we would send them, like, we could send them our city logo, we could send them some artwork that they would fly some configurations and. So it would be customized to Ogallala.
How many years have we not had a show?
I think it was 2 years ago, 2022.
Yeah.
2022, I don't think there was.
I don't even remember here.
Or 21 maybe.
Could have been 21.
It was only
It
one
was,
time.
it was right before I got here.
Yeah, and then, I mean, when there's a ban, then that's no sales of fireworks either.
Correct.
Correct. That's one of the things that with the media present, I wanted to make note, just so we get that out there. If you're thinking about a fundraiser where you're selling fireworks. The fire chiefs are supposed to have a final decision in the next 2 weeks. But I can't wait 2 weeks. I mean, I gotta let this guy know or he's gonna move on. And right now you cannot book a drone show for the 4th of July. I made 3 or 4 phone calls and 4th of July they're already booked up.
I don't see us move forward with it. With the drone show, I mean, it does look pretty impressive on the website, some of the shows that was on there. And they've done a state fair, it was last year. They've done the Husker volleyball game. When it was at Memorial Stadium.
Oh,
That was
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. We're generally the same area.
We would stage the drone show in the same location. We wouldn't have to do as much work. We wouldn't have to have the fire department present, so the fire department would get that night off to be with their families.
Or fight more fire.
Or fight fire somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that location works well because you got we can stage viewing where we always stage viewing and.
Well, I admire your initiative for going out and trying to find a solution to do something versus nothing.
I like the idea of having it, but I also would like us to see if we can, ask the public to try to make up that $7,000 difference but either way, I'm good to go, but.
Is that a motion?
I don't need a motion.
Not an agenda item.
Not an agenda?
I'm just
Oh, it is.
seeking,
He wrote it on.
Oh,
I'm just seeking guidance to make this decision. Without your guidance, I probably would have pulled the trigger on the drone show
I
and
would,
taken the beating.
yeah, you have my support.
I think that's the only decision at this point is to move towards a drone show. So it's really, do we do anything at all or do we do a drone show? My only concern would just be with the amount of funding that we're losing. It seems like at every turn, should we consider just keeping that money? But at the same time, it's not a lot. So.
Start.
Well, Mr. Headley's our fundraiser.
And really, this is a matter that we're gonna have to consider in the next budgetary year. If we're not able to raise the money, we need to quit budgeting the money that. The 25,000. I think we struggled 2 years ago and but we're way down this year.
We have had very, very, very impressive fireworks shows.
Yes.
For a community our size.
And the
I will
price of
tell
these
you
shows
that-
are going up.
I will tell you that normally you guys are always short of funds and board always made it up.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that would work on a drone show though.
Probably not.
Okay, you
All
got
right,
direction.
all right, I got you. Thank you for your input. Thank you for the confidence
Is
to make the decision.
anything
So,
else?
so what are you gonna do here? You gonna go for the drone show?
I will be reaching out to the company Thursday or Friday in committee.
Very good.
But we won't have an announcement on a total fireworks ban for a couple weeks.
We will not have an announcement on the total fireworks ban until the fire chiefs make their final decision, which we anticipate will be before the end of the month, as soon as 2 weeks from now.
Okay. All right, if there's no further business to council, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Motion by Councilman Block, and second by Councilman Holstein to adjourn.
Bingo.
Council, please vote. Motion carried, we're adjourned.
For you.
Kudos to our legal counsel for amalgamating about 6 different